Hey Bag Maker, I'm Sarah Lawson from Sew Sweetness. Thanks so much for joining me for Sewcial Sunday, my weekly sewing chat. Hey everybody, happy Sunday and welcome to Sewcial Sunday. I see Misty is watching from Texas, also from Texas. Barb's watching. June says hello to everyone, and Tracy's watching from New Jersey. So welcome to Sewcial Sunday. I have some fun things to talk to you about today, and then I will be answering questions live near the end of the show. My husband Danny will be joining me on set in just a minute. He's just making sure all the technology is running correctly. I know I didn't get a chance to answer questions last week, and so if you are saving your questions for this show, you can type your question for me in the comments anytime, wherever you're watching the show, either on Facebook or YouTube. It can be a bag making related question about a notion or tool, or a general sewing question. Type that question in the comments now, and it is helpful to Danny to pick out the questions from the comments. If you type a question mark before you type your question, you can also type it in capital letters. If you forget to do either of those things, it's completely fine. He's watching his laptop over here for questions throughout the show. So I know November 1st is tomorrow, but I posted the November challenge blog post early, and so that's up now. In case you're interested in seeing what the November challenges are, every month we're doing 2 challenge choices. So the first challenge is for the Minikin's Mustang Purse Organizer. It's a really fun project to make, and it's also really helpful because you can keep all of your main items in your purse inside the purse organizer, and then when you go to swap out for a different purse, you can just grab the handles and then transfer that purse organizer into the next purse. Hello, Danny.
Hello, everyone.
The second option for the November challenge is to make any Sew Sweetness project that you intend to give as a gift this upcoming holiday. And so you have 2 choices. The link to that blog post for the November challenge is in the comments, and you have until November 30th to get your photo in for either of those challenge options. I also wanted to wish everyone a happy Halloween. I didn't dress up well, I sort of did dress up myself. I was more concentrated on dressing up the horses. So Danny's going to post 2 quick photos.
My picture of my outfit is Scout Regiment from Attack on Titan. Well, I got this flipped.
Is there something on the back of the sweatshirt, or?
Yeah, but it's all set right here. You see
the patches. Okay.
If you watch Attack on Titan, you know what it is. If you don't, you're lost. You should watch it. It's awesome. All right, where are we going for picture 1, sir?
The horse pictures. There's Olive. She was an ex-race horse, and so I dressed myself as a jockey and tried to keep it. I did buy blinkers for her head, but I opted not to use those. And Smudge has his unicorn horn on, and I love his cute little face in that picture. So I did not dress up Flash, our bearded dragon, just because I just feel like she's just not that into that stuff, and didn't want to.
You think the horses are?
No, but yeah, I guess you're right. But me holding a unicorn horn on Smudge's head is, different than putting him in a big outfit,
Sure.
Which is what Flash would have to.
Can you get one of those little
generally
hats?
be doing.
I've seen like the bearded dragons. They have like the little hats.
Yeah, I
in
see
their head.
like a little cowboy hat or something,
Yeah.
or a witch hat. Yeah, those are cute.
I saw a shark one, I think, as well before.
Maybe for next year. Let's see. We are starting week 3 of the Chickadee Backpack Sew Along. Before we get into some modification options, I wanted to announce the week 1 winner is Lonnie. So congratulations to you, Lonnie.
Congratulations, Lonnie.
And for each week, you have 2 weeks time period to enter your picture for that week's challenge. So for week 3, the challenge is to make the front pocket, make the side pockets, and attach the handles. So that will take you up to step number 33 in the pattern instructions. And so I have a few photographs to share with you to show some suggestions for modifications that people have made to their backpacks. So Danny's going to post the first photo. Nikki made this one. Instead of the front pocket, Nikki put a zipper pocket, and she used a zipper overlay for that, and I think it still looks fantastic without that front pocket. I think I saw Nikki commented it in the Facebook group that she chose that zipper pocket instead of the front pocket to save time and a little bit of materials, especially for custom orders or if you're making things for craft fairs or Comic-Con type events. So that's an option. Kathy also, the second picture, Kathy also put a zipper pocket on the front of her bag without the zipper overlay, and that's instead of the front pocket. Again, this will make the assembly a bit quicker because the front pocket takes some time putting all of the parts together. The third photo that I have for you is from Sabrina, and Sabrina, on her front pocket, she placed a mesh elastic pocket over the front, which is really helpful if you have some extra items that you want to place in that mesh pocket that you want to be readily available that you can grab quickly. The next photo is from Camille, and Camille used some applique on her side pockets. Camille,
I like the vinyl she has in the bottom and like the eye, you see it?
Super cool. The applique is from Monsters Inc.
Yeah.
Do you remember the character's name?
Dang, I want to say Morty, but I know it's not.
No, it's escaping me, but I thought it was super clever. And then the last picture is from Michelle. Michelle added rivets to her handles, so adding the rivets or Chicago screws is a really easy way to make the bag look a little bit more polished. So, and Michelle used vinyl for the body of her backpack.
I like her photo presentation too. Very nice job, Michelle.
Yeah, it looks super awesome. And so those are just some ideas if you'd like to modify.
You know, might as well go my pick of the week since I think it's around the same thing. It's a reverse applique. Do you see the Mickey?
Yeah, super, super cool. I love that, and the stripes.
Yeah, the fabric was awesome. You know, those are my favorite color palette easily, like the teals and purples and light blues. Look at the zipper pull. Super cool. When I saw that, I'm like, wow, this bag's awesome. It's like made for me. I might have messaged her and said, I'll give you $1,000 for it. She turned me down.
And I don't know if you mentioned, but this one was from Chelsea Hain.
No, I didn't. I'm sorry. But Chelsea Hain, 2 thumbs up. Awesome job.
Great job on your backpack. So Danny's second favorite part of the show when he's on the show with me, we'd like to invite all of the bag makers to stand proud. Let us know in the comments that you're part of the So Sweetness squad. We're super happy that you're joining us for Sewcial Sunday.
Thank you so much.
Even though it's the holiday being Halloween, thank you for joining us. And I saw everyone chatting in the comments before the show. I see a little ghost emoji from Margaret. So yeah, thank you for joining us. Post.
Usually, like, sometimes I blur. No, I did.
Oh, that's cute. Yeah.
It looks a little different than ours, but it's close.
I like that. So I don't know if you've been collecting questions, or I know we were sort of oohing and eyeing over the Chickadee backpack photos, but I'll be answering some questions in just a second. Before I get over to the questions, I wanted to announce the winner of last week's giveaway, and I think I saw this person before the show chatting in the comments, so hopefully you're still watching. The winner of last week's giveaway is Nettie Kovalt, so congratulations to you, Nettie. Please email me after the show so that I can get you connected with your prize. Congratulations, and thanks for watching. And there will be another giveaway at the end of the show, so stay tuned for that. So I'm going to grab a quick sip of water.
Take a big drink, sir. So I've not seen a question pop up yet.
Okay. Let me try to think of some questions that
There we go.
Okay. Speedbully84 says, when you started with bag design, did you start with drawing them for sale, or did you learn design software first, then start selling? So that's a really great question. When I first started creating bag patterns, I worked with Pellon. They have a website, Pellon Projects, and some of my free bag patterns are on their website. And so because I did not know how to use software to draft my pattern pieces at that time, they sort of created the pattern pieces, not printable, but they sort of put them on True Grid format, which is 1-inch squares. And, you know, looking back on that, not super ideal because you have to more or less draw the pattern pieces out, but I didn't have those skills at the time, but I really loved coming up with ideas for bag patterns and instructions. So I did a few free patterns for Pellon in that format, and then gradually I learned how to use software and digitize pattern pieces, which obviously is where I'm at now as far as printable pattern pieces. And Let me see what else. The software I was super intimidated with at first. I use Adobe software, so Adobe Illustrator. I use Photoshop to edit photos, and then I use InDesign, which is sort of a I can't think of the description for that, but it helps me lay out my pattern instructions with the photos. So the most important element for me to learn was Adobe Illustrator, which is where I draw my pattern pieces. And I remember years ago we found someone, did we find them on Craigslist, or I can't remember where. We found someone who came to the house a few times to teach me the basics for Adobe Illustrator, but it was a really daunting process. Now, of course, there's lots of video tutorials that you can find on YouTube for Adobe Illustrator or other Adobe programs, but at the time, I was really overwhelmed and it felt really scary. But once I got started, baby steps, little by little, as with everything, I got there eventually. But that's my long-winded reply to that question, but great question. Ruth says, not a question, just a thank you for the projector files. I have my projector set up and it made cutting the chickadee so easy. I'm so happy that you're using the projector files. I've heard just a few bits of feedback about them, that people like using them. More so we hear feedback about the SVG files, which are for electric cutting machines. And if you're not familiar with projector files are generally used by a projector mounted on the ceiling generally, and it projects the pattern pieces onto your cutting table or your work area, and generally use a cutting mat which has measurements such as 1-inch squares on there, so you can sort of calibrate your projector, what's coming down on your cutting mat, to make sure the pattern pieces are projecting correctly. And for the projector files, we have everything. It's not on the fold, so it's the full pattern pieces, and it's really handy for kind of moving your fabric around and fussy cutting, orienting the fabric how you want, and then cutting it out with either rotary cutter or scissors. Teresa says, what is the best way to gift someone a Minikin season? That's a really great question, Teresa. We do have gift certificates available on the website, and we have options for different amounts for the gift certificates, but in the case of your question, if you wanted to gift a Minikins bundle to a friend or family member, you can just purchase a gift certificate for $88, and that will take care of the Minikins bundle. And you can either have it emailed to your recipient from you, or you can have it sent to yourself if you'd prefer to print out the gift certificate and include it in a card if you're giving it to someone in person. Joan says, do you buy, I'm not sure what that question was. I think it got cut off.
Is it Shapeflex maybe?
Joan, let us know, in case your question got cut off, let us know in the comments. I'm not sure if you meant where I buy Shapeflex or if it was a different question. Deborah says, would you ever design your own pattern line?
Is that what you do pretty much?
I'm not sure if you mean fabric line, maybe clothing line, or maybe bag line. I have a friend, Barry J., who years ago designed bags for...
There's another person asking about like a fabric line.
Manufactured to actually sell finished bags. Would you ever consider creating a fabric line? So years ago, I did 2 lines of fabric for Art Gallery Fabrics. The first line was called Jungle Avenue, and the second line was called Fantasia. And I really learned a lot creating fabric designs, and I learned a lot about the process of selling, going to trade shows, selling the fabrics to shops. So it was an awesome experience, but in the process of that experience, I learned that fabric design, at least for me, fabric design and pattern design were both full-time jobs, and I didn't want to just do okay at 2 jobs. I want to do the best I could at just one. So bag patterns are my thing, and so I went that route instead of the fabric design. Melissa says, do you have a background in design? So I did go to college for, I took a lot of art classes in college. I took some advertising classes. I felt like, I don't know, school's always been tough for me, especially high school and college. I didn't feel like I fit in. I had a hard time making friends, and so I felt like I wasn't especially college, giving 100% to school. I'm sure I could have learned more, done better things with school, but whatever my experience was, that's where it got me where I am today. And so I guess I have no regrets about that. I think if I could do it over, I'd probably take a few years off after high school and then go to college. So maybe I was more focused, but it is what it is. Mary Jo says, your tutorials are so clear to follow. Thank you. I'm so happy that you enjoy them. We really love making the videos. I think we've got it sort of well-oiled machine up to this point as far as Danny filming and editing and me filming the videos. So yeah, we really, really love what we do. Laura says, do you use Adobe to make your SVGs too? So Michelle Graham, who's an admin of our Facebook
keep your hands
group.
down.
I know.
I see like I'm like looking up for a second and it gets blurry. I'm like, it's because our camera.
It's because my hand is
it's supposed
picking
to
up.
focus the stuff you put in front of you, but even her going like this, I'm like, gosh, what is going on?
I think I was a little nervous because I wasn't answering questions last week, and so I'm covering my nerves with like moving. I see
I want you
it's
to take
doing.
your hands on the wood.
I see it's doing
grip
again.
it, and do not move your hands.
I'll hold my scissors over here. All right. Anyway, Michelle Graham. I'm doing it again. Michelle Graham.
You think you're Italian? Not saying I think it's like a thing, but generally my Italian friends are very. My dad was like this too, and we're not Italian, so maybe that's just a myth.
Michelle Graham puts the SVG files together as well as the projector files and the AO files, and she does use Adobe Illustrator to make the SVG files.
It's hard, isn't it?
Yeah, because I was like, all right, I'll hold these scissors, and then as soon as I grab the scissors and I'm talking, I'm like I find I'm moving the scissors around. All right. Anne says, is there a bag making book number 3 in the works? So actually, my third proposal to my publisher for a book was what ended up being Minikin Season 1. So they did refuse my idea. My idea was for smaller projects, quicker to put together, less amounts of fabrics, a lot of them with fat quarters. And I said, and I'll put videos together for them, and they didn't like the idea. And so I felt really sad for a few weeks, and then I thought, well, I'll just go ahead and do my idea anyway and just put it out on my own. So that was Minikin Season 1. Joan says, second try, do you buy Shapeflex by the bolt? That's a great question, Joan. I do buy Shapeflex by the bolt. I order from a distributor, which is where I get a lot of the notions that we sell in the shop, and so I'm buying Shapeflex by the bolt that way. But I know a lot of people purchase Shapeflex by the bolt, say from Joann Fabrics, other big box stores. So that's another option as well. Oh, I see lots of questions coming. That's great.
We actually have a show on this.
Yes. Janice says, how do I start figuring out how to price my bags? I sew throughout my days as I multitask. So we did a show, I think it was 3 years ago now. It was a panel, how to sell handmade bags. You should be able to find that on my YouTube channel. And that was a discussion, one of the questions I believe from that panel discussion. A lot of people price 3 times the cost of materials. So whatever your fabric, interfacing, hardware, etc. costs, times 3. And I've also heard people say that you should be pricing the materials at the actual retail price. So for example, if you purchase the materials, some of the materials on sale, you should be calculating off the regular retail price so that you're, when you're not buying those particular items on sale anymore, you're still pricing yourself appropriately. Jennifer says, gift giving season is coming. What is the go-to project from Minikins 1 or 2 for gifts? You know what?
Cotton candy was really popular at one time.
Yeah, the cotton candy pouch from Minikin Season 1 was always really popular, but why don't you let me know in the comments if you've made projects from Minikin Season 1, 2, or I'll throw 3 in there as well. If you're making them for gifts or for craft fairs, what is your number one that you like to make that sells really well or that is well received as a gift? So let me know in the comments whether you're watching on either Facebook or YouTube. Danny will look out. Obviously, we can't post everyone's response, but Danny will look out for a couple and post those on the screen. Rhonda says, how expensive are projectors? Honestly, I don't really... Okay.
Sarah set me on a task to find out about projectors for sewing. I joined a group she recommended.
It's a group on Facebook. It's called Projectors for Sewing, which, you know...
Self-titled.
Self-titled, yep.
Yep. And they were using a bunch of different projectors, as low as, I think, under $100, actually. There's some small ones you get on Amazon. And I've seen some other ones that were in the few hundreds that were... Generally, projectors for sewing, they're mounted on the ceiling and shot down onto your work area. Some people are using ultra short throw projectors, which they were putting on the, like on the wall behind us, the projector would be mounted there and shot down onto the desk, so you don't have to mount it on the ceiling. Those were more expensive, but they were buying used one. They recommended buying a used one that was a couple years old for a few $100s. I can't tell you models and what they recommend. They're experts in that group. You go in there, post something, they'll answer it.
They have a file section with helpful files like what I'm doing it again with my hands. What projector and other
just hold them lower.
Other information. So again, the Facebook group, if you're interested, is called Projectors for Sewing. You can just type it in the search box when you open Facebook, and that group should pop up. Teresa says, "What steps are required to use your patterns with leather?" So I admit I don't use leather a huge amount. But a lot of the steps would be similar for cork or vinyl. A lot of times the body of the bag you can sew as is, and sometimes even use the same interfacing as called for in the pattern. You may want to make, depending on the sewing machine you're using, you may want to make some modifications to the straps. For instance, perhaps not 4 layers of strap fabric, maybe 2 layers wrong sides together, or 3 layers folded in thirds before top stitching. So again, some of that depends on the machine that you're using. Accents can also be made without just a single layer rather than sewing right sides together and turning. So it depends on the style of the bag you're making. If you ever have a question for me, a specific question about what you should do for a particular bag pattern, if you're using a different substrate like leather or vinyl, you can always email me, and my email is sarah@sewsweetness.com, and that's Sarah with no H.
Tons of I Spies. That was probably
I see you're posting those comments. Great.
Yeah, I was just going through while you were talking. Now day trips might be more involved as a gift. That's not as
I was going to mention though that with the day trip, if you have to make a lot for a gift, to make it a quicker sew, you can always leave off that front pocket and just have the wallet portion with the zipper. So that's another option. Anne says, for a quicker project, the I Spy pouch can be used for a wide variety of things. My grandson uses his to store his Nerf bullets. Oh, that's a good idea. We have so many of those little Nerf bullets all over the house. Wendy says, Mike Wazowski was the one-eyed green monster on Monsters, Inc. Thank you so much, Wendy. Kelly says, the Metro double zip as a wristlet has been popular for me. I think I saw a few other people mention that in the past, that they sold a lot of the Metro double zip pouches. Barb says, laugh for the day. Last night I totally panicked because I couldn't find your Sewcial Sunday. After about 15 minutes, I realized it was Saturday. That's really funny, and that's me just about every day. I don't know if it's because we work from home, but some days I'm like, what day is it? Yesterday I thought it was Monday. So yeah, that's
not even
happens
close.
to me
I would
often.
think it's Monday. It's crazy.
I really don't know.
Were you in alcohol again?
No. Gwen says, just made the Connemara bag. Very unusual construction. Loved it. What's your favorite from Minikin Season 3? That's a good question. That's probably my favorite also. Either the Connemara pouch or the... And I'm blanking on the names, so I'm just going to leave it at that. Andrea says, can I use the Jukey quarter inch quilting foot that came with my 2010 Q, which is a scant 1/4 inch for your patterns that have a 1/4 inch seam allowance, or should I stick to an actual 1/4 inch seam allowance? You could do either. If you want to use that foot, you can use, there's markings on the bed of your Jukey, and there's one for a 1/4 inch, so you can do that as well. Generally, more of an exact seam allowance is necessary for quilt piecing. Actually, I found that my foot that came with my Jukey is really good for a scant 1/4 inch for most quilting cottons and Orifil thread that I use. Sheila says, what was the last project that you made just for yourself? I can't even remember. It's been a really long time. I
Quilt,
don't
maybe?
know. No, I made some quilts for, yeah, I guess I would say quilts because generally even if I'm gifting a quilt, I'm really sewing it for myself. And by that I mean for the enjoyment of working on the quilt. So for whatever reason, sewing, whether it's bags or quilts, the excitement for me is making the project. And so when it's finished, I don't feel really much of an attachment to it. I mean, a small, somewhat of an attachment, but I'm not like in love with the finished project. I'm not sure why. I don't know. Does that make any sense?
What were you saying?
It's okay.
Best way to answer that.
I know you're looking for
No, I
questions.
heard.
It's
Does it
okay.
make any sense after you finish it? Are you're like done with it? You don't want to, it doesn't have any value to you anymore. Is that what you're saying?
Kind of. I wouldn't go that far. I'm not like throwing it to the side. Like, all right, I'm done with
On
you.
to the
Like,
next
I don't want to see
project.
you anymore. It's just, yeah, my mind's sort of on to the next thing.
What they say, it's like it's not about the destination; it's about the
About the
journey.
journey. Yeah.
Yep.
Anne says, can you recommend a great fabric designer who specializes in cat or kitten prints? I know
Tulip Pink had a line for sure.
Tulip Pink had a fabric line called Tabby Road. Sarah Watts super loves cats, so if you look for fabrics from the fabric designer Sarah Watts, you should be able to find some things. I'm trying to think. Yeah, nothing's jumping out at the top of my head, but whenever I'm looking for a particular theme of fabric and I'm not sure of the exact fabric I want, I always go on Etsy and just type it in the search box. So you can go on Etsy and type in cat fabric in the search box, and I guarantee you'll come up with some cool stuff. Donna says, how you actually learn how to sew, school, or your mother? That's a really great question, Donna. So when I was in the 3rd grade, my mom taught me and my friend Amy once a week for a few weeks how to sew some projects. So we made a knit shirt, sort of like a t-shirt, and then a knit drawstring bag. And so that's when I learned to sew when I was a kid. And then I really didn't sew again until right before we had William, because I got it in my head, oh, I'll make everything custom handmade. I'll pick a fabric and I'll use the same fabric for everything. So I was thinking like a crib fitted sheet, all these little outfits, little blankies. I made like a little blankie with ribbons on it for, I guess, extra enrichment. And of course, really none of those things got sewn because I was just so tired and I just didn't have energy for all the projects that I had in mind. So it was a case of your eyes, if you've ever heard the expression, your eyes are bigger than your stomach. That was definitely the case for me before we had William. Nancy says, I want to thank Danny because he combined my 2 orders.
No problem. Anytime when I print orders, I always sort by name. So if I do see you don't have to send an email. As long as you're in the same period when I'm printing orders, I'll automatically combine and give you a refund on your shipping on one order.
Cheryl says, what do you use to cut your soft and stable? I use a rotary cutter and corners always look ragged. Your corners are so smooth. So should I be using your Cricut maker? Well, the Cricut maker is a really great option if you have one of those because we do have a good amount of patterns available with SVG files for Cricut maker and other cutters. I am, I guess, rather old school. First of all, generally when I'm working on a new pattern or a video, we don't have the SVG files until the pattern's about ready to be released. So this is what I do. So I use a friction pen. I draw my pattern pieces out on the wrong side of the fabric, and then I'm using my scissors to cut everything out. So I'm sure there's an easier or faster way. This is just how I've always done it, and I just feel...
It's like when you cut notches around the corners, feel like, oh, use the scissors that help with that. And Sarah's like, all right, cut notches in the corner, and she cuts about 100 little notches. And I'm like, yeah, if that's what you're comfortable with,
So this is my process, and I guess I'm okay with it because I've learned to love the cutting out the fabric and the interfacing and attaching the interfacing. I usually do that at least the day before, sometimes more. And it's just sort of a time to relax before I'm getting into the heavy brain work of working on the pattern. So anyway, I'm just using my scissors to cut out my soft and stable. And sometimes when I'm cutting out the pieces, the foam interfacing ends up being a little bit bigger than the fabric. And I usually double check with the pattern pieces. And if the fabric is the correct size piece, then I'm just trimming the excess foam, which in my videos, maybe you've even seen sometimes I'll have the foam looks a little bit bigger, and that always gets trimmed down. Teresa says, what would Danny's pick be for a pattern for a switch?
I personally like the widget a lot. I know it's not as... There's a one from the Minikins 3 that fits the switch better, and I can't think the name.
Frisian pouch fits
Yes.
the switch. Actually, someone emailed me a couple days ago. They were using the free Windsor pouch for the Nintendo Switch, and she was making these pouches to sell, and she said everyone wanted this particular pouch for a Nintendo Switch. So I haven't personally made one for a Nintendo Switch, but if you'd like to look it up, it's the Windsor pouch, and it's a free pattern and video.
I do like the widget just because it's got multiple compartments. So if you have games, if you have...
Yeah, and the widget's a crossbody bag, by the way. It's not a pouch.
It's not a pouch, sorry.
No, I didn't say it.
How dare me for saying that?
No, you didn't. I just wanted to clarify in case
I apologize.
People... No.
I'll smile. Everyone tells me to smile always. I'll try to smile.
No. Anne says, I love your determination to beat the odds when faced with negativity. That's a wonderful role model for your children. Thank you so much, Anne. That's really nice to say. And I was thinking about this the other day, and I was telling my therapist, I was telling him that I feel like, as opposed to 3 years ago, I feel like I'm better able to handle something negative that comes my way, whether it's something negative that someone said or something that's happened. I think about it for a little, I'll handle it, and then it's sort of, I'm able to put it out of my head, which is not a skill I used to have. I usually used to keep it in my head, think about it for days. I'd think about it for hours every day, and then it would just never leave me, and so... for sure, therapy's taught me to not take things personally, and sometimes when someone says something unkind to me, has nothing to do with me. Something's going on with them, and they're just sort of projecting onto me, and so.
Were you looking at me for saying something unkind to you? No. Did I just feel that? I was looking down. I thought I saw your head move over.
No. Christina says, I am making some bowl cozies that you use in the microwave. First off, I have to say, a few years ago, someone made me some bowl cozies for my birthday, and I use them all the time, almost every single day, and I have them in a few different sizes. I am always using them because I make myself soup in a pot, and when I put it in the bowl, it's hot right away, and so I'll use the bowl cozy. I love mine. Anyway, Christina says, I've been using Wrap and Zap, which is very expensive. I would like to use cotton batting, however, it is skimmed with polyester. I'm not familiar with Wrap and Zap, and because I didn't make the bowl cozies, I'm not sure. The person
what's
who
inside
made them,
the holders when you get like hot pot holders? You have them.
Could be insulated fleece. I don't know if you could use
You have some you made, I thought. Those pot holders.
I didn't make those.
Oh,
Those
you
were
didn't
gifts.
make those either?
Those were
you got
gifts.
All these nice
Those
gifts.
were birthday gifts also.
Nice.
So if you've made bowl cozies and you've used something else, maybe you've used batting for yours, let us know in the comments because like I said, I didn't make mine. I just, they were a gift and I just really love using them. Kathy says, I'm looking for a new machine. Janome HD9 or Jukey TL 18QVP is one better than the other. So I can't speak about the Janome HD9, but I did do a couple months ago a video review of the Jukey TL 18QVP. So if you go to my, I see you're watching on Facebook, so you can either go to the So Sweetness YouTube channel and type in TL18QVP in the search box on my channel, or you can go to my website under the tutorials tab, bag making techniques. That video should be there as well, and I think it was sort of a long video. Was it like a 20-minute long video? Do you remember?
I don't want to lie to you and say I remember. Insulbright, people were saying, that's what I was thinking before, but I don't know if it was the same stuff.
Insulbright for the cozies? Okay.
I assume they're just writing one word answer, Insulbrights. There's a couple of them.
Anyway, I do love the Jukey TL 18QVP. It's got some really awesome features, and I talk about those in the video in case you're interested.
People are using all cotton batting, 100% cotton batting, 100% cotton batting, a bunch 100% cotton battings.
Okay. If I had to guess, I would say the bowl cozies I have are batting because they don't, when I hold them, they don't sound crinkly like the Insulbright would be. Debbie says, would you tell us about the scissor you just held up? Yes. I love these scissors. I've been using them for years. They're Kai scissors, and they're model number 7205.
I was going to say 7720.
No.
Gosh, I was off. I'm glad I didn't say that.
I'll say it again. 7205 is the model number. They just feel really good in my hands. They don't feel too heavy, and I used to have scissors.
They cut so nice. They literally feel like you're slicing a hot knife through butter when
Yeah.
you cut. I'm not exaggerating either.
And I like when I have to open my hands, my previous scissors, this really made my hands sore over time. And I don't know if it's because these scissors are so smooth.
Or maybe the angle of them. Sounded the thumb's a little different.
I don't know. My other scissors were a similar angle. They were a different brand though. Anyway, I love these. I love these a lot. Erica says, is there a way you could turn the chickadee bag into a one-strap backpack? I'm trying to think if I've seen anyone do that yet.
I thought I saw something like that.
Did you? Okay.
I think I did. I'm not 100% sure, but I want to say yes. Can't you do like the split bag with the
Michelle
zipper?
Graham has a pattern hack for a single strap with a zipper down the middle. So when you unzip it, it creates two different straps. You can find that on my blog. Again, if you go to the tutorials tab, there's a sub tab for pattern hacks. It would be under that section. Diane says, would you consider acrylic templates for the widget bag minus the very narrow piece? Yeah, I think I wrote myself a note the other day and I forgot to follow up on that. Yeah, the widget pattern, we can't have a acrylic template for the front cutout piece because it's just too thin. But the rest of the pieces we could, so.
Someone says Crafty Gemini has a tutorial on bowl.
Oh, she does? Oh, okay, so Vanessa from Crafty Gemini is my friend, and check out her channel on YouTube. It's Crafty Gemini, and Lori says that she has a tutorial video for bowl cozies or koozies. I'm not sure what the correct term. I guess try either of those terms, and hopefully it'll come up. Joan says, where do you get the scissors sharpened? Mine need it. So the website that I've used in the past is called simplysharper.com. You send your scissors or knives or what have you in the mail to them. They sharpen them and they send them back. Oh, thank you. I forgot.
What's the model number? Yep.
I forgot we had that good Zoom now. And again, I sent mine in a few years ago, but I got them back super quickly.
A few people said that anything goes in the microwave needs to be 100% cotton.
Oh, I didn't think about that. Oh, yeah.
And someone says
mine, for me personally, I don't put my cozy in the microwave. It's just for when the warm, to hold the warm thing.
Mm-hmm.
Christina says that Crystal Cap'n, most 100% cotton batting, says it is skimmed with poly. What brand and exact name are you using?
I think it's part of the
yeah,
conversation going on here.
Gotcha. You want to put up another?
I think that's it.
You're calling on the questions?
Yeah.
Okay. I apologize if I did not get your questions live. I'll be back again next Sunday answering questions, as well as I'll have a new notion of the week, book review, new fabric that I've added to my stash. So that's next Sunday, so tune in for that show.
In 2 weeks, I'll be back with the haircut and a beard trimming because it's overdue, for sure.
So one last thing is the giveaway for this week. So I'll let you hold up the giveaway prizes since you're good with that camera over there. 3 items, 1 randomly drawn winner. You have until the end of the day this Saturday to leave your comments on either Facebook or YouTube, wherever you watch the show. Danny's holding up the items that will be included in this particular giveaway. Let's see. I said it was randomly drawn winner. I'll give you another question. Yeah, those are some great Tula Pink fabrics. I'll give you another question so that you have an extra opportunity to leave a comment. So my question is...
I love this fabric.
Yeah, me too. My extra question is, and you can type this in the comments right now.
You think we trade this out, they'd notice?
What is your favorite Halloween costume you've either worn yourself or you've seen on someone else? So just let me know in the comments what your favorite costume. Can you think of any cool costumes you've seen?
One I could think of is it's where it looks like there's a little guy carrying you, like you're sitting on a smaller person's shoulders, and it's generally like I can't think off the top of my head, but it looks almost like a little person's carrying you around, and it's like it's sort of inflated, and it looks funny when you run around.
Okay.
It looks I wish I had a picture. I should have probably looked one up.
So when I was a kid, my brother and I had He-Man and She-Ra costumes. So for my She-Ra costume, I had I think it was a sparkly skirt. I might have had
That's a great
crown of some
costume.
sort. I don't know if you're familiar with He-Man and She-Ra,
I loved He-Man and She-Ra.
the
both.
animated shows. I think they have new ones now, don't they?
They do. The new one's
Yeah.
really well. There's actually 2 new He-Mans.
Oh, are there?
Yeah.
Very interesting. Anyway, thank you again for joining us
everyone.
for Social Sunday. I hope you have a great week and happy sewing.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.